Hi, welcome back to Grop Life. I'm Grop. Life happened. So, a little over a month ago, had an incident that caused me to make this video that I have been putting off making. On September 10th, I went for an evening ride, and what was going to be just a fun, quick ride before the sun went all the way down turned up to be a night in the emergency room. I went around a curve and a deer came out fast from the right and took me out on my bike. The Harley's totaled. It got hit hard. The whole front end got tore up. I'll put some footage up. And we're a few days after the wreck, me and one of my friends went to the dealership and took a look at the bike because the night of, I couldn't look at it that night. It was in the ditch. As I was saying, I went out for the ride. I came around a turn, and this doe comes out from the right, and there was nowhere for me to go. No time to do anything, and I hit it. It hit right on the front of my fairing. My bike immediately low-sided, and I went for a slide. I tried to tuck into the fairing a little bit when I realized I was going to hit the deer. Ooh. It's not always the easiest thing to talk about. That's why I've been putting it off. But as I hit the deer, I went to tuck into the fairing, and I remember the whole thing. It's not fun. That was one of the scariest moments of my life. I'm glad I was wearing a helmet. Glad I had boots on and gloves. Wish I had had a jacket on, because I do have a good bit of road rash on this shoulder, because I was sliding and grinding along on my left shoulder for what I'm estimating somewhere around like 50 to 60 feet, and then went into the right or the left side ditch, or I separated from the bike and then slid into the right or left side ditch, and the bike ended up on the right side ditch about 20 feet, maybe 20, 30 feet farther down the road than me, face down in the ditch. But I thankfully made it all the way into the left-hand ditch, and knew that I was hurt, but couldn't feel it because of the adrenaline and just the shock of what was going on. Because during the slide, I was sitting there just thinking, okay, well, I'm about to die, and kind of coming to terms with that, which is scary. Most people don't walk away from motorcycle accidents, and I'm very, very lucky to have walked away from one where I totaled out my road glide. Back onto the crash. As the deer came out and knocked me over and I low-sided, I could feel my shoulder grinding into the asphalt as I went down in my slide, as I stayed attached to the bike for a little bit and then separated from the bike. But while I was still on it, and my head was on the ground, and I could see the asphalt going by my visor as it was just scraping and the sound of it in my helmet. I'm very, very glad and lucky that I had my helmet, and I'll insert some video of it here, but this little Icon helmet took a beating. The Cardo unit got scraped off, but the Cardo still works. I just don't think it's waterproof anymore. So definitely gonna have to replace both of those. The Hightail did stay on and intact. Nothing's wrong with that, so I'll put that one on my new helmet. But thankfully I had the helmet on. If I didn't, I would have been dead, for sure. So my shoulder has a lot of road rash still on the top. It's been about 4.5 weeks since the crash when I'm filming this. And most of my road rash has started to heal, like on this arm, and more that's in here. It's inside the sling. Both of my knees got tore up. My left knee ended up with a hole in it that was about the size of a quarter, maybe just a little bit smaller than a $50. And you could see almost all the way down to my kneecap. Just that little sack that your kneecap sits in made it all the way down to that. Thankfully, they were just able to sew it up and I didn't need surgery. I did end up breaking my scapula, which, whew, everybody kept saying, oh, that's not a fun one to break or heal. And everybody was right. I don't recommend breaking your scapula. If you can avoid it. But thankfully, I'm healing up well. I'm slowly getting used to my arm again and exercising when I do come out of the sling. But yeah, I'm very grateful to be here and not have more damage. Or back to the night of, after I made it into the ditch, a couple stopped and they helped me up out of the ditch and saw the lights blinking on the Harley in the opposite ditch, and then turned around and saw my arm come up and ask for help. And I was so grateful they stopped and helped me. And I'm also grateful that I hit that deer before they were coming, because if they were coming just a little, if they were coming around about the same time that I hit the deer, they would have hit me. And I'm just glad I made it in the ditch and I didn't get hit in the road. But thankfully they were able to help me sit up, and I could feel that my shoulder was not good. So I kind of was already just kind of holding my arm and just kind of knew that I did some damage, and I could see like where my road rash was and see through my jeans where they were ripped, because I was like a squid, and like so many people, you get comfortable and just riding in jeans and a t-shirt because it was a nice summer night. I'm very lucky that I didn't get worse road rash, considering that I was in just jeans and a t-shirt. But got up, helped me over to the bike, and found my phone, which miraculously my cell phone got ejected from the bike and has one scratch on the side of it. And I don't use a case, and everybody always gets on to me for not using a case, but I've just got a tiny scratch right here from the accident. So thankfully I did have the new iPhones have a crash detection on them, and that immediately sent out alerts to my family and to 911 before the couple that had stopped, and they called 911 as well, which I'm very grateful that they stopped and helped me, because that was scary. Because I knew things were wrong, but I couldn't really feel anything because of all the adrenaline. So having somebody kind of help me and just be there was great. Everybody that responded, the officer that responded to the scene, EMS was great on the ambulance ride there. Everybody in the ER really, like, they took a lot of care of me, and like I said, I'm lucky. I got up and I walked away from that crash, and then to be wheeled into the emergency room, and there's an entire room full of people waiting on me because it's a motorcycle crash and they don't know what's coming. I got so many x-rays. It was a long night, but then thankfully I walked out of the ER. They didn't even wheel me out in a wheelchair. They had me walk out, and I went home that night just a few hours after the crash. So the bike got towed to the dealership, where me and my best friend went a few days after. He came up and saw me and drove me up there because I couldn't drive for a little while. I'm just now kind of starting to get out and drive a little bit now, since I'm starting to feel a little bit better. But we went to the dealership and checked out the bike. Oh, it was totaled. The crash bar wore halfway through, and apparently pulled away from the frame, and every inch of that bike got damaged and scratched because it apparently rolled over or flipped or something by the time it got over to the other ditch. It was funny because the Clockworks, it held up pretty good. It just had a few scratches on it. I almost wanted to keep it, but it was scratched up. So I'm gonna miss that bike. I had 12,000 miles on it, I think it was 12,161 miles on it when it totaled. And now I just gotta finish healing up and decide what I'm gonna get. And I'll get another bike, but I just don't know if I should wait and get a 2025, if I should get a 2024 leftover and try and save some money and maybe get a stage 2, or if I should just go crazy and get a legendary orange CVO. We'll see. It's probably gonna be a little bit of break in videos like it has been since the Advent Black video. I've just got to finish getting recovered and get back to where I can ride a bike again and rehab my arm and just get over this hurdle. Life happens. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, give me a like, hit that notification button, because then you'll know when I start putting new videos out. And leave me some comments down below. What do you think I should get to replace my bike? Should I get another one just like it and just start the build over again? Should I try and get a legendary orange CVO, or should I get a different color? Let me know your ideas down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for everybody that did reach out and check on me after the accident when I had posted up on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram to get a little bit more of current live updates. And until the next video, I'll see y'all then.